Bang! What is up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Friday, December 3rd, and as always, I'm joined by CJ Reichel and Dr. J, Dr. Jobs today on that jobs report. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more, but should be an exciting weekend. Some interesting crypto price action today. The miners getting hit a bit hard today as Bitcoin kind of remains stagnant, but we'll talk about that and a whole lot more before we dive into things. John, CJ, how are you guys doing today?
Bang! I'm doing well. I know CJ's doing well because he's been scalping some of these shit coins in the overnight hours, which is why he's got those big bags under his eyes too. If you stay up all night trading against the Asian market, you're going to get bags eventually, CJ. You don't have them yet, but you're going to get them.
Yeah, that John, that's all too familiar.
By the way, I got to show you guys this. So this is a plate that I just finished some eggs, and I made the mistake of buying plant-based sausage. If I owned that company, I would call it, I can't believe it's not dirt. It tasted like dirt with a slightly spicy, a slight spiciness. Didn't taste anything like any sausage I've ever had. But as you saw, there was only one piece left. It was like the Three Stooges. You know how are you fans of the Stooges?
Sure.
Okay. There's one where they're playing Union soldiers that are spying on the Confederacy or something like that. And they're sitting there. Somehow a pillow gets dumped into the porridge or something like that. And they're sitting there trying to eat it. And so rather than spit it out, once it goes into their mouth, it's going to go down. So they're sitting there forcing their mouth to go up and down and chew this stuff, as just the way I felt with this. I can't believe it's not dirt sausage.
Well, hopefully the day's only up from your breakfast. We'll see how the markets respond. But CJ, I wanted to toss a question to you because, like John said, you've been doing lots of boots on the ground research over the last couple of weeks here, diving into various crypto ecosystems. And if we look at some of the top movers of the day, one asset that's really been moving is Polygon or Matic. I know you've been experienced in kind of circumventing these ETH gas fees when you've been exploring these downstream assets. Can you talk about how Polygon has played a role in your exploration of these other assets?
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime I need to use Ethereum, ideally you want to do it with a side chain, and Matic is one of those. So for instance, I was messing around on Aave, doing borrowing, lending, things of that sort, just checking it out. And, Aave was initially natively only on Ethereum. And so it's very difficult to circumvent the gas fees or just trade around them when you have to deal with that on Ethereum. But ever since that launch, they've integrated 2 new platforms as well. And they're now compatible with Polygon as well as AVAX. So, when you connect to Aave with Matic, they don't have all of the exact features that the Ethereum connection would have. Nonetheless, it's an extremely beneficial substitute, and it's very useful when you're dealing with various dApps like that. So anything to avoid Ethereum and the gas fees, and if that means buying some Matic and being able to use that network, then not only am I all for it, but I'm sure a lot of others are as well, because nobody wants to pay those gas fees. So,
yeah, makes sense. That's a great tip. That alone is worth your price of admission, folks.
And I mean, if we take a look at the Market Rebellion watch list and we see some of the biggest movers of the day, another asset that's really moving today is Atom or Cosmos. And I think that this is moving on a similar premise that Cosmos aims to be kind of an internet of blockchains and provide blockchain interoperability between these chains. So if you want to swap into an ERC20 network or ERC20 token, you could hypothetically do it using the Atom network, the Cosmos network, and you could get access to ERC20 tokens by using the Polygon blockchain or the AVAX blockchain. So this idea of blockchain interoperability is really becoming more and more popular as the ETH gas fees kind of force people to explore other options. So today we're seeing a very nice move out of Atom, and I think that is along a similar thesis of this move for Matic. People are exploring alternatives. They're realizing that these ETH network fees, this network congestion, is just not practical for retail traders, and they will try and circumvent them, whether it be with alternate chains or whether it be through interoperability systems like Cosmos here. So just interesting to note that two of the biggest movers of the day, Atom up 16%, Matic up almost 9%, was up a bit more earlier, coming back a little bit from some profit taking at this $2.40 level, but still, biggest winners of the day happen to be, assets that are benefiting from those high Ethereum gas fees. So interesting stuff there. And while I got this watch list up, another asset that's up big over the last 48 hours, 24 hours is StormX. And that's on the back of this news here. Yesterday, they announced that they'll be rolling out their US debit card for Q1 2022. If you haven't signed up for that, you can do it on the StormX app. But they announced yesterday that their users will be earning 8% interest when they shop on Amazon. So, very, very solid crypto cash back. There are other, retail cryptos that kind of aim to do this similar, fundamental purpose, but I haven't seen anything that offers, 8% on such a, large retailer like Amazon. So big move for StormX. Price responded positively, as we can see here. But once again, we saw some profit taking at this very sticky 0.036 level. That's likely just long-term holders that have been in this position taking profit. But I still think that ultimately, this will be a big catalyst for positive price. They got big things coming in 2022. So congratulations to Simon and StormX for getting this done. But some big movers today. Those are just three of them. But John, jobs report today. Market looking a little bit, questionable. Crypto-related equities in particular not performing too well. Just want to get your thoughts on the market and what we may see, kind of play out over the weekend and into the start of next week.
Overall, I think, Monty, that the jobs report will prove positive for cryptos. We know that, of course, in big whooshes to the downside, like last Friday, for instance, that it pulls down the Dow, and the markets around the world can pull down cryptos too for at least a day, because people are looking to go to cash, even though that's kind of a dumb assumption, I think, on people's parts. Nonetheless, the market doesn't care if you're dumb or smart. That's just kind of what the herd does. Now that we've stabilized and that the variant Omicron is not as deadly as Delta, and certainly, even though it's very transmissible, it's apparently not. It's very mild in the cases so far. They're not overwhelming hospitals at all with this. That's good. We hope that continues. And the jobs report, just to tie that in, the jobs report, we only created 210,000 jobs. We were expected, the median was 500 and something thousand. So we were way under that. Now, some people would point to the good news that the unemployment rate is 4.2%, but the participation rate, that's, in other words, there's a lot of people. We know there are nearly 9 million fewer workers in the system right now. So to see that we're at a 4.2% unemployment rate means a lot of people just aren't looking, have stopped looking. Now, the reason I'm tying all this together is that because the amount of new jobs net created, because actually every month, guys, and I think you and the listeners know this, we create 1 million or millions of jobs every single month in this country. However, we do have resignations, we do have retirements, we do have deaths. And the net number is what gets reported in the BLS. So it's a net of 210,000 jobs created, a net number. Since that is so far under what was expected, I think the Fed will not accelerate the taper at the pace that we thought they would do when Jerome Powell came before Congress earlier this week, because he sounded pretty hawkish and said they were ready to move and move pretty fast on the taper. I think, and again, this is not purchase, this is only purchase of bonds. This isn't increasing interest rates. So instead of this being finished by maybe March, which some people thought that's what he was signaling earlier this week, maybe it pushes off April, May, June. The longer it pushes off, the better it'll be for crypto, because you're devaluing the dollar the longer that you just buy your own bonds. Because even when they taper, they're still buying bonds. They're just buying fewer bonds. So again, all this has the net result of making the currency worth less. And as that goes on for a longer period of time, I think that's good for crypto assets, in particular for the king, Bitcoin, because it's got such a limited, 18.8 million coins out there, some of which have been lost forever. So assets gather their value by their scarcity. I think that's good for Bitcoin the longer the Fed takes to make this taper. Long-winded explanation.
Yeah, no, great answer though, John. Thank you for that. And CJ, I want to toss something to you now because, like John said, the tapering has kind of been pushed back. One other thing that's kind of being pushed back is some of these predictions about Bitcoin, reaching 100K, ETH reaching 10K. And I think a couple, assets in particular that are struggling are the crypto-related equities, Riot, Mara. Those, those miners aren't really moving because Bitcoin isn't moving. I know you have been watching those miners closely. Any thoughts on those as we close up the week here?
I believe it was Hut 8 yesterday or the day before that came out, and pretty much said that they, as a result of increased network difficulty, were not able to mine as many Bitcoins as they were previously. And so I think the presumption across the market is that seeped into other miners as well, such as Riot, Mara. So revenues, if Bitcoin were to remain at a constant price, just having less of the coins mined would mean decreased revenues. So they need Bitcoin to ascend and to continue to trend in order to help their stock prices. In my opinion, in the short term, I think they just tread water or sell off, 1 or 2% a day until Bitcoin can really break out here. If we get above 59K and start trending back into the 60s, I have no doubt that Riot will likely go back, likely into the high 30s to 40s, and then potentially further. But I mean, yeah, down 5%, trading at $31 right now. So unless Bitcoin can trend and get its head out of the sand, these miners are not making as much as they used to be, at least temporarily. So,
yeah, and that's a great observation, CJ. The slam that they did on the miners yesterday, in particular a 2 or 3 day slam on Hut, was pretty dramatic. I mean, I'm still a real believer in that particular miner, Hut 8. But my gosh, you're buying it now at $10. This is a very low price for that one. I mean, the last time we were 10 was basically October 12th. And after that, we ran all the way up to like $16. Obviously, I wish I would have sold out there. I didn't. I have put on spreads down here in that miner in particular. At 11, I own the right to take it at 11 and to let somebody else take it from me at 15 out into the future. But my gosh, that's, you look at just the 5 day on Hut, and I think CJ is spot on with, finally this news got out there, but the damage is done. I don't know if this thing can be much below 10, given, how many coins they actually do get on a daily basis, even if it's cut out by what CJ said. But wow, this has been one that's been hurt pretty good.
John, I know you've been following them very closely. I was just, have they done any dilution, or is there any plans for any type of dilution? Are you aware of?
Well, not that I've heard of. And in fact, CJ, remember a couple weeks ago we had Alan Lane on from Silvergate, and in particular, Silvergate is lending to institutions like Hut 8, saying, we understand you don't want to sell your coins because they don't sell their Bitcoins. So like CJ said, folks, you got to raise money somehow because you got to pay employees and so forth. So it would make a lot of sense, of course, and I'm sure they're doing it already, and hopefully we can hook them up with Silvergate. But I'm sure they're borrowing against their mined coins rather than selling those coins, because if you sell it, A, you've got a taxable event, and B, you're losing one of your mainstays of what your basically what your business was created to do, and that's mine and hold Bitcoins. That's why this became a $2 billion company. It's eased down now to whatever, 1.8, but I think it goes back. But I haven't, to answer your question directly, CJ, I have not heard anything about any dilutive offerings yet. And I say yet only because I don't know if they're even thinking about it.
Gotcha. Thank you. Monty?
No, I was just going to say, we saw the effect that had on Mara. So, we'll definitely be watching out for that in the near future. But I think that's all we got for today. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We're approaching the weekend here. CJ and I will be in the crypto room this weekend. CJ, like John said, has been exploring various crypto ecosystems and, reporting his findings back to the members in chat. It's been a lot of fun to watch. So definitely head over there and try that out if you guys are curious about learning more. CJ?
Yeah, let me just tease this one, because I just think it's kind of, it's not practical. I mean, you'll see what I mean, but it is entertaining. And so one of our members, Kevin, posted this link in our chat last night, and this is a staking pool on AVAX in which you can deposit this particular asset known as time, and you get paid out in 79% APY in this particular pool. So
79,000%?
Yes, 79,000%. So, just my experience was that I deposited like $1,300 and put it in for an hour and came out with like 1,400. So it was quite interesting from like a game theory perspective. But you are literally stepping into hyperinflation when you do something like that. But it's pretty interesting, the things that are being built and the things that are going on in the DeFi market as of now. But yeah, there are some wormholes out there for sure.
Well, everybody have a great weekend. Join CJ and Monty by, again, going over to marketrebellion.com/try crypto. And let's see you Monday. Have a great one.
Take care.